It's not really enjoyable to make music now.
Why'd you say that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software. I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music.
I think it's interesting that if you asked people 10 years ago about how AI was going to have an impact, with a lot of confidence from almost most people, you would have heard, first it's going to come for the jobs like a programmer or whatever, and then very last of all, and maybe never, it's going to take the creative jobs. And it's really gone and is going exactly the other direction.
They see these anecdotal things on Twitter and artists saying, well, I only get paid X for a million streams. But a million streams is actually a very, very low amount of streams. A million streams over the course of a year is just not a big number in the case of Spotify.
This a world you really should run from. When you dance with the devil, you gon' become one. Why there's no surprise that all the demons are lit. It's a fire from a digital hell frying your onion. Like Cord higher, Columbus conquer land where you settle. Brought to the future, colonize every man, every level. How all the arts went to ruin, sanded and leveled. Ask Daniel Eck how it feels to dance with the devil. Being guided through twists and the turns, where major labels make you license and rent out our work. There's no more ownership, the crime of subscription subvert. Independent artists, let me provide some history first. Cause look, CDs with record sales, that's how you got released. But the internet introduced a new form of piracy. Upload the CD and we all could get that album for free. With Napster, LimeWire, and some others, that time was a feast. So Daniel Eck has seen the route it provided. He studied our behavior while streaming from online libraries. Developed a system that'll treat it all like it's still free, but pay through advertisements. Still the problem was licensing. Cause Napster was sued, that's all illegal. How you gonna escape if they face with a signed artist? Going dead like SoundCloud or be bought is such a gamble. Chances for success is slim as pulling a raffle. And there go the major labels there in the shadows. Strike a deal that became the fate of our money's channel. Intentions he considers is saving the music business. Not so worried about the artists the labels got under shackles. Now they not only want a stake but they want the table. Leveraging their power on playlists and where to place it. Deceptively told you that you had a chance for the upload. Using desperate artists investment to pay the majors. Put a middleman between you and your fans. They buying out the distribution you use for your tracks. There's not a manager in fact that can use for the data to save that for later. But the bag is too huge to pass. Got us accept the percentages of pennies. What a way to get rich. But you know how we get, we lazy, we just take what we get. Never take our music as serious as a job. While we drive global economies in the pockets of businessmen. This'll get way darker the more you dig in it. Involving the banks like Goldman Sachs and they wickedness. Mayor Rothschild said give me control of the nation's currency. I care less about the laws, interesting. It's no wonder that this behavior is similar. They guarded by their money, that's all the gates where you get to them. How many authorities do they got in their pocket? They can bribe and make them switch a decision just for their benefit. Go through loopholes, curve the system just to enter it. Believe the artists in bad shape like they preventing them. Take your super fans before you can ever vent to them. But we gon' air them out, and that's how we gonna filter them. They been cutting corners, it's so much to replace on your name and your image to upload a deep fake. You can't even die without it. You gon' give them all they dollars through a posthumous release till they know they repay. Can no longer trust your eyes, know for sure you see straight. But the business is so crooked, gotta hold it, replace it. We can see the problems why we don't support fake, but the more sophisticated that it grow can retrace it. The lie getting redesigned for a different price. When you hit subscribe, know that you just surrender for life. The decline that has stripped the value of all the artistry. The market like this is smart that they kick us to a dive. Cause when everything was free, the field a new appetite. The development of streams, and really that was provided in 1996, 2000s. It got its hype, it destroyed the CD. The business knew that it's time, but Universal said we gon' need subscriptions. Advertisements ain't gon' get it for our musicians. As if our livelihood is considered. Why we don't get health and dental benefits with that signature, but it gave us so much control, it's ridiculous. Spotify barely could profit off of the sticker, but they put their hands up. We're able to strike a deal, joined hands, and now they are dancing all through the field. And they gonna make a kill, almost like you do a drill. And they cutting you again and again and again. Almost signed Fnmeka, that was prototype 1. Didn't drop them till they seen that the world was like, what? Same tactics, you get out of label as slave masters. When they trap you with the promise and they snatch you. Took a black voice that was called a hooligan, gave them all of the raps that sounded the main swag of the art. And 3D design was made by Brandon through his company Factory New, and reimagined the most stereotypical visual of a rapper. And say he's AI, his race isn't a factor. Offer cow equity just to get in the rap, then they ghost him. Using his voice in all his tracks, it became a viral smash. And thought that he didn't matter till Fnmeka said the N-word, and the reaction was like, Who's behind this virtual artist? Who is programming and working all of the parts? They reached out to Kyle, was trying to scam him again, so they had to replace him, but it lost all of his art, cause the label was asking for the artist that they had ghosted. And the final straw was the prison scene they had posted. But that's nothing new, they've been using our voices under their white imagery, so they get all the glory. But don't think I forgot about Spotify, just the way that we gotta lay a base. The purposes of they text, and when Drake came out with Tailor Made to show your ethics, you take it from the dead, no urge to give them respect. Training all they models to imitate what we started. This ain't really no different from creating virtual Elvis. You've already admitted collection of all our data, trying to claim it's fair use. Ain't worried about your protection. Spotify got caught with so many AI songs, it's an epidemic, but they would swear to you that we wrong. Just the same song with different names and variations that take the place of the playlist they say they made for your making. Now the artists that don't exist get more plays and it's rated as high as all of the majors. Recycle money, they make it getting crazy. They learning just how to make it more subtle and not so much in your face, but they profit from it daily. Why so many bots still on this platform? They were offered two-step verification years ago, but that ain't what they had asked for. Looks like they need to keep their numbers inflated, but now they got bots looking for bots and will charge you extra if they will find them. See, that's amazing. Taking down artists when they bots are mistaken, with no human interaction and management getting lazy. You still here? Well, this is the most important part. Can we complain when we build it up? Is this something we really want? They giving us what they get from us. That's what we really want, right? Participate and we build it up. Is this something we really want? They giving us what they get from us. That's what you really want. If rap is a sport, who getting played? See, it's still sharp and still how the gladiators are made. We ate up the Drake beef and even I boomed the song with such an appetite that we all needed the Super Bowl. It's so easy to get caught up in all the drama and mess, till you see the crowd singing around, fight to the death. As a company who study your salivate that was seen, or are we really just over consuming, feeding our greed? We don't gotta presume the doom and the gloom. AI can be useful if it is only used as a tool, but the Suno CEO said music making too hard, so the journey of perfecting your craft should be removed. Now how clueless do you have to be that you ever assume that we don't enjoy the process to make the tunes that we choose? It's a hands-on experience to take you close to what's spiritual, but that sounds like a ghost in a shell. Nothing is in there, but we build it up. Is this something we really want? They giving us what they get from us. That's what we really want, right? Participate and we build it up. Is this something we really want? They giving us what they get from us. That's what you really want. Trials and tribulations are needed. How you gonna respond to confrontation and disagreement? The Bible said be as humble as dove, deadly as vipers. The Quran says it's difficulty before there is ease. When we let convenience take all our passion and make us go, they tricking you out of ownership so they have the control to pay for their platform. You getting served by devils in Hell's Kitchen, adjusting the greed that we exposed. Who you stand with in corporate versus independence? They are now streaming 2.0 in their agreement with UMG, cause they know that the future is going premium and steering you away from us with their offer of ease. But this monster we created, if they just working to feed it, get more for less, and everything almost gotta be free, or you pay for a subscription at lower price of our fee, with no care for the artist like the owner's part of the scheme. This what you want, huh? When you dance with the devil, you gon' become one. This what you want, huh? But when you dance with the devil, you gon' become one. This what you want, huh? When you dance with the devil, you gon' become one.